This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
You horn tootin'. That's all I have to say. So I got up this morning. I don't know, for some reason, I've been sleeping really well, but for some reason the last few nights I've been waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, which was on the old schedule, because 5 o'clock in the morning here is 4 in the morning there. And I used to get up at 3:30, quarter to 4, doing the queue over there. So once in a while, my brain still kicks into, you got to get up. Why does it still? I suppose after 37 years, it's going to do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm probably never going to get rid of that. That's
just
what
wired
you're saying?
that way. Yeah, you're just wired that way. That's fine.
Okay, I got to ask you guys a question because I just, I'm trying my best, because when I wake up early, I sit down. Well, every morning I sit down and I watch the national news. And I posted something on the Thomas Barnard page today. You tune into Fox and they hate all liberals. And then you tune into CNN and they hate all, whatever the hell, Republicans or whatever the hell. I don't even know. Do they have a nickname? Do they? Conservatives?
Yeah,
conservatives. There you go. So basically, I'm looking around in the national news, not the local news, pretty much. That's good. It's one thing I love when I travel. I told you this before. I get to watch Channel 5 news wherever I go in the United States because you can get, first of all, you can get the app on your phone, but also it shows up on all streaming services. Do you ever notice that you go to like a hotel now? You can go on the streaming service and pick your hometown news.
Yeah, they let you put your zip code in, so that way,
if
you're out on business and you don't want to watch, whatever Hun Yuck is in Iowa doing the news, you can tune into Chris Egert.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't travel enough to know that, but now I might just have to. Like Toledo,
Absolutely.
Ohio. I'm checked into the Marriott Inn in Toledo, but I'm watching Chris Egert.
Yeah, because some of those small markets, it looks like they're still filming on.
It's a high school production.
Yeah, it's no offense, but Minneapolis is a little better.
Minneapolis, actually, to tell you the truth, Minneapolis and Chicago have the best local news in the United States and always have. Chicago and Minneapolis, by far the best. I mean, you get on the East Coast and the West Coast, it's all, first of all, on the West Coast, it's all yay, rah, rah, Hollywood crap. Mm-hmm. And on New York is, well, we're better than you. And I love New Yorkers. Don't get me wrong. I love living there, love New Yorkers. But the news in New York is, well, we're better than you because we live in New York. It's just one of those deals. But I sincerely have to do something about, and I'm going to talk to you two guys about it because you're a different generation. But I am really literally getting worn out by the horseshit attitudes that everybody has now, whether it's on television, on the streets, everywhere except for podcast morning shows. I've noticed it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Why do people want to be in a terrible mood every day?
Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like the pushback to that grows stronger. The resistance grows stronger and stronger every day.
The resistance to that bad attitude?
People are resistance.
Yeah, because I feel like more and more people that I'll talk to, they're like, we're just so exhausted of everybody being so upset all the time about every little thing. And don't get me wrong, there are certain things that are big deals. You have to be upset about, but when it's like, it's the end of the world because the barista spelled my name wrong on my coffee cup and you said something, made a joke that I found offensive, and now I have to let the whole world hear about it. It's like, okay, everybody just relax, take a deep breath, and we'll get through this together. Woosah.
Yeah, I literally, honest to God, tried to watch a little news this morning, so I tuned into CNN, and basically, I didn't know this, but they apparently hate Donald Trump. And then I tuned it over to Fox, and I didn't know this either, but apparently they hate Joe Biden. And then I turned over to some local channel, and there were young people on there talking about how much they hate old people. So it's like, Jesus, is there anywhere to go? Why are we falling for this? Because that's what we're doing. We are falling for their hatred. They make a ton of money, and we get nothing out of it but misery. Why do we do it?
Yeah, especially when you go... If somebody's like, oh, we're going to hate, old people. And it's like, well, old people never did anything to me.
Exactly.
Like, let's all take this by case basis. Like, if there was an old person that didn't give you a Werther's back in the day and you have beef with him, that's your business. But
right.
Everybody else calm down. Like, especially when, Tom, you've lived through, things that me and AJ will never experience. And it's like your duty and other people that are of an older generation to educate the youth and advise. And I think, as a younger generation, if you ignore some of the things they went through, you're bound to repeat some of the same mistakes.
No question. I'll give you an example of what may have set this off, because it was a while back, a few weeks ago. I helped somebody out financially that needed help, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just, helped them out and all the rest of it. The two more times I've spoken to them since I've done that, and they basically either blown off and not returned my call, or the one time they did answer, I don't have time to talk right now. It's like, wait a second. You should be in the poorhouse, you prick. And I'm going to call you and you're going to treat me like that. So in other words, I can count on him never paying me back. It's just never going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
What is it with people and money? Once you get off your ass and go make money, because in America, man, you can get out there and make a lot of money if you want to. So why do people want to be that horrible? Explain that to me.
I mean, I would assume in your situation, people go, he's, he's got, millions and millions and millions of dollars.
He's rolling
good.
heavy. We're good.
He probably has more spare change fall out of his pocket than, I'm asking him for. So I think people probably have that kind of attitude towards it. I mean, but then you hear that when, people, whether it's stealing something, or I remember we talk about a bank that was robbed, like, the money's insured, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's like, you can't just blow that off. Like, it's the principle. The principle of everything.
Yeah.
The principle of the thing. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I posted something this morning asking that very question. Is like, what am I supposed to do? I have nowhere to get up in the morning and watch the national news. Local news is fine. They just do a good job. Like I said, I watch Channel 5 wherever I am, so it doesn't really matter. But I did post something, and I wonder if people have responded. I think like 9 people have responded to it.
I wonder, does like Nick at Night, do they still do the news reports?
I don't know. Yes.
Like, they gotta probably have some good news on there.
Like little kid news.
Yeah.
I'll get over it and all the rest of it, but a lot of people do fall for that. A lot of people think that whether it's an anchor on Fox or an anchor on CNN or any of the other, that doesn't happen on local news. Local news is just fine. But they're instructed to be a pain in the ass and try to get people. They literally weaken you by making you feel bad. You're much more vulnerable when you listen to what they're doing, because you now feel bad about it. And so you're going to just accept pretty much whatever they puke out of their hideous mouths. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like right now, of course, we went through this, so it's got to be Biden, and then after that, it's got to be Trump, and now they're both going to be charged with crimes, and they're going to be fined $500 million, and they're going to be it's like, Jesus, you're wearing me out, and I got nothing to do with it. You know?
Yeah. I'm tired for the people that have been going on and on and on and on for the past, 4 to 8 years.
It's been about 4 to 8 years. That's about right.
It's like the same thing with it's not the same thing, but it's like sports media, where it's like, as soon as the season ends, you have this month-long conversation about, well, Patrick Mahomes, of course he's the best. Well, actually, no, Lamar Jackson, if he was healthy, or Joe Burrow, blah, blah, blah. But it's the same thing for 3 months before the next season.
Yep.
And then, then they actually, it's the same thing with politics. It's like, you have the election, and then it's just 3 years in between. Well, this candidate would be the right. This candidate, if he was healthy and he didn't tear his Achilles, just can we just back it up? Can we back it up? Talk about anything else. There are other things to talk about. Let's look at some other issues, other topics. There's other stuff to cover.
No question. We got to move on. But I would. This is Uncle Tommy's advice. This is what I would do if I were you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have grandchildren, that's great. If you have children, that's great too. If you have a spouse, that's wonderful. Focus on your family and their needs and their wants and their happiness. And these other people can go do whatever they want to do. You want to be hateful and puke out your hatred? Good for you. You make a lot of money doing that. Well, isn't that special? You make people feel like crap for a living. Really, you got to be proud of yourself, don't you?
Oh, yeah. And that money that's always made never trickles down to the people that voted.
Right.
No.
So it's funny how those trickle-down economics end up trickling down as only a little bit.
Yeah, the trickle stops pretty high at the top.
A perfect example yesterday, we kind of addressed it for 1 second. How do you have $19 billion in the bank as the state of Minnesota, and 1 year later, you're now $2 billion in debt? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Where did the $19 billion go? I want to see a printout of where that money went. You wouldn't want to give it back to the taxpayers. By the way, just because you pay your taxes, that's still your money that you paid the taxes with. Right. So if you got $19 billion extra, that belongs to me, not you.
Right. And they wonder why people are hesitant to pay the taxes. Because we just gave you 19 million, 19 billion too much. And now it's gone. I'm going to need some receipts.
Exactly right.
JG Wentworth. I need that cash now.
JG Wentworth. I want to be the guy with the spear and the helmet on the bus. JG Wentworth.
You'd have to be the baritone guy, right?
Oh, yeah. You're definitely the baritone.
No.
I'm just going to hum in the background because I cannot sing.
So I guess what I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, is it's going to be, if you want to watch the national news, I wouldn't if I were. I can't stand to watch it anymore because it's never positive. And when it is positive, it always turns out that somebody on that show is involved in it and they're making money off of it. Look at these wonderful pies they're making at my my friend's shop. You know, everybody's got to make tons of money or else they're not happy. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Get off your ass. Go find some friends. Stop being such a pain in the ass. But again, I'm very grateful. I'll close with this. I'm very grateful that the local news doesn't have that edge to it. They report the news. Like, a guy who was told 20 years ago that he could never carry a gun again and ends up killing 3 people and then ends up being... Did he kill himself or did they shoot him in the head or what happened there?
I was under the impression that he killed himself.
That's what I thought, yeah.
That's what I believe I heard as well, but I'm not... There's still a lot of foggy stuff that Chris might be able to clear up for us.
You know what I love about this? And we'll talk... I know we got to go here, but what I love about it the most is... They're doing the report, and this is way back at the beginning of it. And Tevin, you can hear the rap music playing in the background.
I knew you were going to say something.
Yeah, you thug!
I saw the picture of the guy, and my first thought was, since when do black people do like mass shooting type things like this? This is definitely mostly a white person thing, and so
it is not. What do you pay attention? Listen to you. God. Here, wait a minute. Wait, I got to get with the times here. Hold on.
There you go. See, Tom, we're gonna make you look cool.
For the audio only,
another thing.
Tom just turn his hat around.
I hate this so much. Why? My favorite of all time was. The guy's got his hat on backwards. His sunglasses are on the bill of the cap behind his head, and he's doing this.
Yeah, he's at the baseball game.
Yeah, there's not a lot of bright people.
Okay, I missed what you said there because I was turning my hat around. Sorry. What?
Oh, I said there's not a lot of bright people in the world that do that. I've seen that the sunglasses, hat backwards, and now use my hand.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to ignore the national news. These people are making billions of dollars off of our misery. Stick with the local news, and maybe when their by the way, their ratings have been going down across the board because people can't stand it anymore. So stick with it. Watch the local news. Try to help one another. Hang around with your family. I hang out with my family. I feel great. So hang out with your family, your best friend, whatever you got, right?
Do that. Absolutely.
And if anybody brings up, here's what I would do. This is Uncle Tommy giving you some advice. If somebody walks up to you and starts that, just punch them right in the face. No?
Yeah. I was going to go right in the throat.
You're going with the throat.
Just hit it with the throat.
You ever had that happen to you?
Not like done on purpose, but yeah, playing football, there was a corner that he always, and our coach taught it to jam them in the throat.
Yeah.
We're just in practice right now. I will fight you if you jam me in the throat.
I like it.
I'm going to assault you.
Yes.
So yeah, be happy. Don't listen to these pukes. They're making money off of our misery. Be happy. Enjoy your family, your friends, your job, or whatever it is. Focus on your own. Don't worry about these people. Oh, it's just horrible what they're doing. Shut up. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all of your continued support. To thank you, They're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TOM. You get free shipping on your entire order. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers. 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146 or go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to having the best selection in town, as you know, K&L Surplus and Ammo can also help you sell your firearms safely and worry-free. If you've inherited a collection of firearms from a loved one and don't know what to do with them, or if you have guns you're no longer using, call Jim at K&L Surplus and Ammo. Jim can help you sell those firearms safely through consignment, an auction, does a great job. I know Jim. That's why I say I can tell you he does a great job because I know him. He's extremely knowledgeable, will help you get top dollar. He will help you explore all the options, take the work and stress off your shoulders. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Atlanta Lakes and open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You horn tootin' it is, ladies and gentlemen. I just realized something. I just posted something about 5 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll read the post. Every morning I wake up and try to watch the national news. CNN and Fox keep puking out their hatred of one another, making it, for me, unwatchable. Is there anywhere to turn? So far, it's gotten over 100 comments in about 2 minutes. So I think I'm not the only one pissed off at the national news. Unless they're pissed off at me. I haven't read any of the comments. They either hate the national news or me, one of the two. Oh, nice support from the crowd. Thank you.
I'm saying, Tevin, you can take that one if you want. That seems like a landmine waiting to happen.
It really is. There's no question about it. Should I just read the first post, Judd?
Yes, go ahead.
Because, I haven't read any of them yet. Mike, podcasts from non-biased individuals, maybe? What do you think of that action? I don't know if he's serious about that. That's the problem. He might be taking a shot at me, but I don't know.
He's being sarcastic. He thinks you're completely biased.
No,
he
Mike
might be
like a good guy.
Oh, no. Who is that? Who's Barry George? Or George Barry?
I don't know.
Guy just out of the blue calls me on the phone. I wonder who that was.
What song is that? What's your ringtone?
Don't call us, we'll call you.
I like it.
Very
Very good.
Jeff Hamilton says it's entertainment, Tommy, nothing more. So in other words, I might be taking it too seriously. You think I am taking it too seriously? The news?
Maybe a little bit.
Arguably.
Maybe a little bit.
Arguably. Judd, we were just talking about the fact that I woke up this morning, I had some stuff to do, so I tried to watch the national news. And it's just one side, we hate Trump, the other side's we hate Biden, and I'm just getting sick of the hatred.
Well, but that's what the whole cable/satellite news is about, right? Like that.
Yep.
That's become their shtick. It's no different than a sports channel that favors, I don't know, let's say New York teams or something like that. Like there is the only national news that I don't really watch much of it at all, but the only one that I think can be a bit more unbiased is the actual network TV news, because like Fox News is going to be incredibly biased. CNN falls in the same landmine.
Right.
So yeah, I think the whole cable game is basically rigged to try to draw people in through exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know they're doing it to make. Yeah, they're doing it to make money.
Right.
There was a guy named Jerry Lindbergh. I would tell you to listen, Tom. Listen to Tom Barnard, but he had the same effect on me. I'm just saying. So I took a shot there, ladies and gentlemen. But apparently, a few of my followers went after him then, so that's good. Now, Jerry, I understand because I've got some opinion. I know once in a while I get carried away like everybody else does, Jerry. I understand that. But what I like is, I'm just saying, but you're still reaching out to me. Obviously, you're still listening, so I do appreciate that. That's great. You have faith in me that I'll turn it around and just be even keel as they come.
Feedback is not a bad thing.
No, it's not. I agree. Whether it's positive or negative.
You got a bunch of comments. Exactly right.
No,
That's not a bad thing. Pay attention.
Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. So what's happening in your world, Judd?
Well, there was a crazy hockey game. AJ was at yesterday. Yeah, 10-7. The Wild come back and win it after being hopelessly, or what appeared to be hopelessly down. Now, the problem is, I met in person Tevin for the first time a few nights ago.
Yep.
When he was in a suite with AJ, Tom, with your listeners for the Wild Buffalo game. And that game was basically, compared to yesterday, a snooze fest. So poor Tevin goes to a hockey game and he gets this lousy game. And the next game is a 10-7, 17 goals, 7 goals by the home team in the third period. Most goals ever in a Wild game. Several records set. Tevin's timing, I've decided, absolutely sucks.
Yeah, I was like, this can't be the same sport that I just watched on Saturday. They'd scored how many goals? And I thought, what was it? 3 players had a hat trick.
Yes.
They scored like it was a franchise record for the most goals in like a 4-minute span at some point in the third. Like just absolute pandemonium. So I definitely picked the wrong game to go to.
Yeah, Tevin showed up to the studio day. First words out of his mouth, "What the hell was that yesterday?" Where was that on Saturday?
Right. And H said, "You had to have been there." And Tevin said, "I wanted to. I just went to the wrong damn game, Tom." That's what he said.
I understand that completely. No question about it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that Wild game that we went to back several months ago, that was a lot of fun. Sounds like you guys had a great time. The listeners had a good time, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was fun, regardless of how they played for the first part. At least was overtime. They ended up losing, which sucked, but it was still fun.
The company at the game was a lot better than the actual game.
Yes.
Like the people in the suite with us.
Well, I agree with that completely. That's the same deal that I had going there. There's no question. Grant helped me host one of those things. You guys know Grant.
Oh, yeah, Grant's great.
What a great guy, that guy. Don't tell him I said that.
You know why?
Why?
Benilde guy, just like me.
Oh, he's a Benilde guy.
That's why he's such a great guy.
Benilde. Well, my brother Terry, you, and Grant, all Benilde people,
and all great people, right? So
the best there is. Is it still the Benilde Knights? Was it the Red Knights?
Red Knights. Yeah, very good.
Knights. Yeah, there you go. I remember. Well, it's kind of
St. Margaret's Red Knights.
It's kind of on the north side, I guess. Kind of. It leans more towards St. Louis Park, but it's kind of in North Minneapolis, I guess.
It's towards that way.
Towards that way, anyway. But yeah, I know. Well, like I said, when my brother was a teenage boy, he helped them build the school because it opened when he was like 16, I think, something like that. So he paid his tuition by helping to work on the building, pushing wheelbarrows around and stuff like that. So it was a great opportunity back in the day.
Absolutely. And now the tuition is just a little bit more than it was back then, or when I went. When I went, it was I'm not saying it was dirt cheap, but there was a time where like Totino, Grace, and Benilde, I wouldn't call them athletic powers at the time,
right?
But like my mom for 13 years sent me to Catholic school, right? So it's like you're going to Catholic school, and I did. Now it's like let's just say I don't think my parents could afford Benilde, and I'm not even sure that they would want me because I would bring nothing athletically, and they are really good in sports now.
Really?
Yeah, they got great in hockey.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They just hired a guy by the name of Brad Anderson, who was the football coach for years at Wayzata. brought him aboard because I think the football program had fallen off a bit. They've been up and down in basketball, but yeah, it's funny when I was there, I think the only thing that they were good in was like soccer, Tom. And now it's
Right.
and now they're a AA hockey team competing for state championships and
That is
things that I
terrific.
did not would not have recognized from my tenure at Benilde from 84 to 88.
You know, you just made me realize something I've never realized in my life before. That my brother Terry went to Benilde and earned his way in by working with them. Then I, my brother Todd, and my brother Tony all went to North High School. And then my brother Troy went to De La Salle.
Oh, wow.
So think about this. So my brother Terry, he's going to school over at Benilde. Then my dad goes off the deep end and gets hauled away in a straitjacket. And there's kind of a lull there. And then Tommy gets a good job, so Troy ends up going to De La Salle. So it's like from here to here is right through here.
Yep.
I never even
De La Salle, that's a
realized
nice
that,
school.
actually.
Great campus.
Oh, God, I loved going to those De La Salle. He played basketball at De La Salle. It was just a ball to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, high school sports are pretty damn good. Well, actually, even grade school, I played on the. Well, I shouldn't say I played on the. I sat on the bench for the basketball team when I was in 8th grade at St. Anne's. So well, it's fair. They put Tom. You're going to be our backup center. I was 6 feet tall. Our center, Jim Brown, was like 6'3". So guess how much I played
Oh, wow. 6'3" in 8th grade.
in 8th grade.
I mean, 6 feet tall in 8th grade is big.
Yeah, well, I was 6 feet tall by the time I was like 12 years old. It was weird. Well, I am kind of a caveman. You ever seen me? I am very caveman-like.
I can't talk about that because I'm the exact way. So same way.
not gonna
So,
bring it up.
like I'm not throwing that. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It all works out in the end. But, that stuff, to tell you the truth, going to watch your brothers or sisters play on the high school teams or junior high teams or whatever, and your friends, those are some of the best sports times in my life, I remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because that's when sports is at its purest.
Yep.
It's you and your group of friends that you grew up with, and we're just here to beat those hated guys from 5 miles west that happen to grow up in a different town. And then once you get to like college and professional, it's the business aspect of it, and it loses its purity.
And what's cool too is like when you're in grade school and you realize that, or you look up to high school kids at the time, and so like you go to games and it's a thrill.
Yeah,
Like that's the one time in your life where you can like go to high school games and it's a real thrill to watch those players.
yep.
I just got a text message from a friend of mine who played on that St. Anne's basketball team the same time I did. He said, let's not forget the grand finale when the season was over and they were handing out the awards. And they gave one to Jim Brown, our center. Bob Tyson, our starting guard, was phenomenal. And they finally got to me. This is, by the way, with the Archbishop in attendance. So we had a Monsignor, an Archbishop, a bunch of priests, a bunch of nuns. This was at St. Anne's School. The coach goes, now we get to Tom Barnard. Jesus Christ. In a Catholic school in front of everybody.
What had you done to get that response?
What kind of program they run over there?
I got a lot of people that kind of I have great friends, and there are some people that are like, what is wrong with you? That's been my whole life.
But is there a backstory here about what you did to draw
Yeah.
that type of response as a guy that sounds like he warmed the bench on a grade school basketball team?
Who is the great NBA player that all he ever did was beat on the other people? He never shot much, didn't play much defense. He just beat the piss out of the opposition every time he went into the game.
Like a Bill Lambier or
Yeah, like Lambier did.
Like
Yeah, that's
Dennis
good.
Rodman.
Rodman, I was going to say.
Rodman, absolutely.
He beat
So
the piss out of people.
That's kind of what I did. That was my whole job.
Well, it sounds like you did your job and your coach should have loved you. Are you kidding?
Oh, no, the coach hated my guts.
Wait,
Like
so I
everywhere.
guess it was you that was the self-appointed like bruiser of the team, and the coach was like, "Would you stop fighting the other guy?"
That would be correct.
Coach wanted a rebounder. Tom's out there throwing bows.
Well, you know what? Wait, hold on a second. Tom was warming the bench. He has 5 fouls to give and should use each and every one of them because you don't want Jim Brown fouling out of the game.
That's exactly what it was, too. 100%. Like he would score and score and score, and then he wanted to rest up a little bit because the other guy's just worn out. So I would go in there and just beat the piss out of him, hang all over him without the ref looking, oh, good to see you.
My guess is you might have strongly suggested to the coach that you play more or something. That's my guess. I mean, knowing you, I'm not trying to say that you don't hold your words, but there are times you don't hold your words.
It's true. It's absolutely true. I had no ability whatsoever at basketball. I just was kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but 6 feet.
Yeah, back
Boxing
then.
out?
Yeah, that's true.
I bet you were effective.
Not really.
Well, you don't score. No, let's be very clear. You were the backup to Jim Brown, who was probably a star of the team. So you probably played your role on that team quite well.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short for backing up one of the greatest running backs in NFL history, Tom.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
There's Jim Brown, different
actors.
Jim Brown, but
and actors. He got out of the sports game to become an actor.
That's
It's unbelievable.
It's not your fault.
He's wearing that dashiki all the time now. It's unbelievable. But no, it was quite the era. I had a lot of great friends, all the rest of it. I never went out for like football or any of that stuff because that costs money. Apparently, you got to buy the uniform or the equipment or whatever the hell it is. But it was a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fun watching it. Never any good at it, but such is life.
And
right?
football's tough too.
Okay,
I went to one captain's practice, and I quickly retired. I said, "This ain't." I'd much prefer to criticize these guys than actually work this hard.
Remember I'll close with this. We can close out the segment with this.
Yeah.
Remember those old towels that you would pull down? There was like a white holder, and you would pull down on the cloth, and it would roll back. When it was dirty, it would roll back up in there. And you remember those, don't you?
Yep.
The coach, who might have also been one of my teachers, got a little fed up with me one day, and he goes, Mr. Barnard, follow me. We went into the boys' room, and he starts yelling at me. He said, are you paying attention to me? Grabbed my head and rammed it into that white the white dispenser. I'm in 8th grade. The guy's ramming my head into this. So no wonder I can't think clearly.
Well, and now you would have a lawsuit that wouldn't end
That
in the
building
district.
would be mine. It's true. That building would be mine right now. No question. So, it's just the way life goes. But I'm glad that I talked to you guys about that because I don't know that I'm going to be able to watch the national news anymore. It's too one-sided no matter where you go. They lie their asses off. It's like, that never happened. Why are you saying that happened? Right?
Oh, yeah, no question about it. That's why I don't watch it because if you want unbiased coverage for the most part, you ain't going to get it at, let's say, Fox News or CNN. Probably.
You're not. OAN, I watch a little bit, but they're a little unprofessional over there. I don't know is that from somebody's basement or something? At One America News or whatever it's called.
That's Trump's deal, right?
Oh, is it?
I don't think he owns it, but I think they replaced Fox as Trump's favorite.
I didn't know that. Well, good for them because I tell you what, this whole deal, I don't feel really good about being in this generation right now because all I ever hear is, first of all, Trump is 77. Well, they're both in their 80s. Well, no, they're not. But I would say there should be limits, just like there's a low limit. I think you can't be president until you're 35. Is that correct? Or is it 45?
35.
It's 35. Okay.
But yes, there is a limit. And you're exactly right. There should be a cap on age.
There
no
should.
question about it.
It should be maybe 65. That's what it is on a lot of professional jobs.
Yes.
Like if you're a pilot, you got to retire at 65 years old. That's just how it is, right?
Correct. Yes. You're that's 1,000% right.
And it might be time to do that because it's, you get to go, both guys up there. One's just pissed off. Look, I know you got nailed for $400 million, but calm down.
Well, I'm with you though. Your point is always a good one, and that is like you don't have to like either side.
No.
Like that's the thing is you don't have to take sides. It's literally the sports equivalent is you're a baseball fan and you're told you got to pick the Yankees or Red Sox.
Yeah.
And what if you say I don't like either of those teams? In fact, I might hate both of those teams. Yeah. Is there a third team? Is there something else? And they're like, no, you got to pick one of these two teams. You can say, well, no, then I'm just not going to do that.
That's exactly what I'm going to follow Judd's advice for the rest of my life. That's it. I can't watch it anymore. I tried and tried and tried. I can't do it. But we will talk to you again tomorrow, sir.
We will indeed. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Judd Zulgad, ladies and gentlemen. SKOR North. Take a break. Be right back with Chris Egert. Every new year is a chance for a fresh start, and the most profitable start you can make in 2024 is to take advantage of the business opportunities in Sioux Falls, which is a great city. I've been there many times. It was part of my territory when I worked at Capitol Records. That's when I started going there. Make 2024 your year to discover the benefits of Sioux Falls. We're hearing from Minnesota companies considering expanding or relocating to the Sioux Falls area. Minnesota business people are excited about our short commutes, safe streets, quality of life excellence, of course. We've got the details at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. In Sioux Falls, you'll discover a friendly pro-business attitude, along with a productive, growing workforce, no personal or corporate state income tax, low workers' comp rates, and a lot less red tape. We've got great people, affordable buildings, and sites ready and waiting for your expansion plans. It's an easy decision once you look at the advantages. 2024 is the time to make your move to Sioux Falls. Visit SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
What do you think of that? I should hurry. There's no question about it. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. He's my guy, and he should be your guy too. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too, as I said. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market, the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. All you have to do is call Josh, which I did, and I'd advise you to do the same. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back. Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Chris, why aren't you wearing your thug hat like that guy in Burnsville?
You know, it's funny you brought up the hat because one of our viewers actually brought up the hat too, which he was suggesting that we use a different picture of him because he had a Twins hat on, which I don't know.
No, the one I saw.
I mean, it's not like the Twins sanctioned the alleged cop killer guy, right? Like it was a weird observation to get from an email. But then on the other hand, I'm like, well, maybe we should be using a different picture of him that doesn't have the Twins hat on. I don't know.
We had another one with like gold lettering. Did you see that one, Tevin?
No, I was just as if like that email was like, yeah, Twins fans are just out of control, and so that's
not what it was saying, but it definitely was. I guess I didn't even really think of it. I mean, I think we figured out who he was yesterday, or we knew who he was a couple days ago, but the BCA officially identified the guy yesterday. 38-year-old Shannon Gooden is his name, and then one of the pictures we have is him in this like gold Twins hat, and that was the email that we got. Like, you change that hat, or I'm like, okay. I mean, people are pissed and angry about it, right? Like every single component of it. So I get why somebody would be frustrated by that.
Now, is it, if you don't want to talk about this, we don't have to, but somebody told me that this all started because he was at his mother's or his sister's house? Where was he? There was like his mother or his sister or something, and he was having sex with a 14-year-old girl.
I don't have any of that information.
Yeah, because I just wonder if that's true or not. Because
I
you
don't
see all
know.
this stuff pop up. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, there's been I'm not saying that some of that stuff that comes up, it's not that it may or may not be true, but
right.
We have as a news organization, we've got a lot more stringent.
Sure.
We can't just report every single thing that we're reading without like going through the process, and because first of all, we can get sued, and some a website or there are certain we just have to be a little more careful with it. So
I mean, I'd like to sue you, but I never have been able to.
I've had my name on a lawsuit or two before over the years, and I don't, because it's the nature of the nature of the work, unfortunately.
It is. There's no question about it. I never had to go to court, though. That's the good part of it.
Same.
I've been nailed, but I never had to go to court because they settle it out of court or whatever. But if you're a public figure and you're on television or radio or podcasting or whatever, people are going to come after you.
Well, I mean, and sometimes there are legitimate reasons for, somebody, if on our end, we didn't cross a T or dot an I, then, I mean, I get it. That's lawyers doing their jobs. But so that came out yesterday. We now know, and I think it was already kind of being talked about the day before that, but he did have prior convictions. That he did have a lifetime ban on gun possession.
Right.
Obviously, that didn't stop him from getting guns, which is the argument that you're always going to hear when you start having gun control conversations. People are like, guys, people who want to get the guns are going to get the guns, regardless of whether or not there's legislation in place. But
well, you can make your own gun now, which is a little scary.
You can buy kits for it. You can buy little things that alter guns that you might already have that turn them into automatic weapons, and it's. Yeah,
it does happen. So, any good news in the news?
No, but not really.
He goes, no, there's.
But not. I did put for any of your listeners who want to, I put a link to the only sanctioned website that's taking money for the families of the victims of this thing.
Right. Yep.
I put that on my Facebook page, so if anybody just go into Facebook and look up Chris Egert TV. And there's a link on there. So if people are interested in helping the family, which I know a lot of people are, that's the one that Burnsville police just sent it out to our reporter this morning. So you're going to hear a lot of other organizations that are maybe trying to raise funds, and maybe maybe they're not doing it, maybe it's all on the up and up, but I just know that this came from Burnsville police, and they said, this is the one we'd like you to donate to. So
I have a question for you, because I brought this up earlier. When I travel, whenever I'm out of the Minneapolis St. Paul area, I still watch Channel 5 on television. Almost all local and national news, well, all national news is obviously, but almost all local news stations with any ratings, you can walk into a hotel, bring up the icon, click on it, and you can watch Channel 5 news from the beginning to the end. I love that.
Yeah, it's definitely, and that's a lot of the organizations right now are really, really, really working to be available where everybody can find us, because it just doesn't work that way anymore, where people get up and if they have to come looking for you and it's hard for them to find you, they're going to watch somebody else. So I know that that's kind of a effort in the industry to really try to get our products out everywhere we can so people can catch it. So,
but I really like it because it's a piece of home. If you're on the road and you're in New York City or whatever, it's a piece of home. It's wonderful. I love that.
No, I agree. I do the same thing. So,
Mo, definitely. So everything else is good news. You've already delivered the bad news. Everything else is good. I'm assuming.
Yeah, everything else is fine. That's we'll leave it at that. How's that sound?
We shall. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Okay, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Oh, by the way, I should mention, It was not Channel 5. It was one of the other stations. I wanted to see what the deal is, so I kind of went around looking at the other stations. I won't say which one it was, but I clicked on it just in time for the anchor to take a shot at me. I'm like, Jesus. I'm out of town, and I still have to hear, that son of a bitch, which they don't say, but they imply. Right?
Oh, yeah. No, they found a professional way to phrase it.
Oh, it's professional on their side. I like that. It's not filthy news. It's professional. Okay. I see how you're going to take it. We got this all covered, though, don't we? Everything's covered.
Yeah.
Everything's good. All right. We got to take a break here. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Josh Arnold will join us. Some financial news, which, I don't know, every time I talk to Josh, it's good news. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
February is the month for love. When is the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? Or are you scared what you might see or smell maybe? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your house. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home with their Love Your Rug special. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at just $119 and a free hallway. Don't forget Dirt and Dander's favorite hiding place, your air ducts. This month, take $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, 952-ZEROREZ, or go online at zeroresminnesota.com and say you want the Tom Barnard Show special. Protect your employees and customers by getting your business Zero Resified by the pros at Zero Res. Call today for your commercial cleaning estimate. Spell it forward or backward. It spells the same. Zero Res.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of news, a little bit of information. I just checked. I really like all the people that are like 125 or more than that now, I guess, comments on what we were talking about earlier this morning. And a lot of really good ideas in there. Nobody got too whipped up about it. And some people can tolerate it, some people can't. And it seems like the lead advice is, why do you watch the news?
Absolutely. I might be on those people's team.
I think that's the big squad is I just don't watch the news. They just don't.
Yeah. My head hits the pillow. So unbothered at the end of the night. No headlines running through my mind. No stress. I right to sleep like a baby.
So I should learn something.
I don't know if you should learn something. I think the advice is almost don't learn something. Don't turn on the news at times and force yourself to absorb that stuff.
But local news is still good.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
some people are even saying that the local news in some towns is not very good either.
No.
I suppose that happens, but yeah, I mean, I just try to keep up on the news of the day, but I understand everybody's point. Negative, positive, whatever. I get it. And I have gone through periods where I did get political myself, but then I realized I'm not a lefty nor a righty. I'm kind of stuck in the middle, so why bother with it?
Yeah, there you go.
That makes sense, I guess. I mean, I will report the news, but it's just, I guess it doesn't have the same impact that it used to. I just have a real hard time watching people just lie to the public. And I'll leave it at that. Stop lying to the people. And both Fox and CNN do it. They lie their ass off about what's really happening. So that's all I'm saying. And I got nothing against Fox or CNN. There's some people, I know a couple of people that work for both places. So it's not like I want them to lose their jobs, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Right. We just want them to be factual and accurate when they report.
Be very unusual. You mean kind of like let's say Josh Arnold, somebody like that?
Exactly like a Josh Arnold.
Like straight ahead, nothing but great advice.
Yep.
Never sugarcoated.
Never. Did he even show up today?
He's here.
I showed up for you.
There you go.
Big baby.
I showed up for you. I got up extra early just for you.
All right. Let me just tell you something, Buster Brown. You and I are really good friends, but I like your family much more than I like you. Let me just put it that way.
I am so glad you like my mother, my cousin. You like Annie.
Yep.
I just mentioned all these women. Of course you like.
Yeah, there you go. Your mother is such a sweetheart. Every time she looks at me, she gets this big smile like, yeah, Tom, I know what you're up to. It was the best, man. Another great dinner a few days ago with Josh Arnold's family. Catherine and I went. We had a wonderful time. I want you to know that.
Well, I am so glad they love you. So
I feel the same way. I had a big weekend, man. I went to lunch with your family, and then I went to dinner with Louie Nanny's family. So that was phenomenal.
Oh, you get all these people from Minnesota. Well, my mother's not from Minnesota, nor my cousin. But, geez, you get some local people, or at least local here and local there. It's a great time.
It is. One thing I'm a little leery of, though, when your cousin and my wife start talking, it's like, oh, my God, these two are getting along way too well. This could be dangerous.
It's going to cost you money.
Yeah, well, how do I? Now, that's a good intro to why you're even here. First of all, I have not looked at the market yet this morning. How are we doing? Is everything okay?
Everything is okay. But, and I have to say, here's the but. Okay, we'll give you, here's some positive news. Capital One Financial is buying Discover Financial in a $35.5 billion all-stock deal. So Capital One acquiring Discover. So now instead of seeing two different credit card commercials, you'll just see one.
That's great. That's great news for everybody.
So that'll cut that out. But for people who try to get two different credit cards, one from Discover and one from Capital One, sorry, not going to happen. You're only going to be able to get one. But that both is a very good deal for the financial sector, and that pushed Discover up. Capital One, the acquiring company, their stock goes down. This will take a little while to get done because the FTC chairman, Lena Khan, will be on the case and probably see some type of reason for this not to get done and saying, competition is being eliminated with this merger. And I always say, what do you mean? What kind of competition?
Right.
being eliminated. Do you know how many credit cards are out there or available? They should. Don't you think there are too many banks out there? No, this should be a positive, we'll say, for the banking sector overall.
Right.
Here's another positive before I hit the market being down. Walmart beat the numbers, top and bottom line. Walmart's increased their dividend. Walmart's going to split their shares 3-for-1, and they're buying the TV manufacturer Vizio for $2 billion.
Oh, man.
Walmart stock is up. So that's a positive. Consumers are still consuming at Walmart, and Walmart's e-commerce business is up. So that put a little damper on my favorite, Amazon. Oh, Walmart is going to take share from Amazon. I really don't think so, but the market is a little bit skeptical of that, at least today. Plus, the market is concerned that Jeff Bezos is selling some Amazon shares.
Ooh.
Horror on horrors, Jeff Bezos is selling shares. Hey, he's got to fund all of his obligations. His Blue Origin space project. He's got to fund his new real estate, and he might need a new boat because whoever built the old boat, they can't float it underneath a bridge. Yeah, that's
It's too big.
too tall. to
Too
go under
tall.
the bridge. Do you mean that's too tall? Too tall, Jones. That's it. You know, come on.
Yeah, I don't
Both architects didn't bother when they built the bridge. Think about how to get it out of the dry dock. Oh my goodness.
Well, he lives in Miami now, doesn't he, Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, he just moved to. He's in Miami. He acquired some property in Indian Creek. They do have supposedly they've got a very nice golf course in there, and he's got neighbors, or he will have neighbors like Carl Icahn and Tom Brady and Giselle and Jared Kushner and his wife, the daughter of one of the presidential candidates.
Man.
Or the daughter of a former president who was running for president. How's that?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, well, Jared Kushner, absolutely.
But one of the big things, the state of Washington put through their legislature a special tax that only hits about 10 people in the state of Washington. And they are people like Jeff Bezos and, well, I think Steve Ballmer moved, and a few other mega rich people, so that when they sold their stock, they'd have to pay a special tax on the profit. The folks in Washington thought that they'd be able to raise billions of dollars on that to fund all their programs in and around, we'll say, Seattle. Do you not think that those billionaires have the ability to pick up and leave the state of Washington and move someplace else?
No,
well, Jeff Bezos did. A guy named Ken Fisher, a billionaire money manager, he moved his offices from Seattle elsewhere. Boeing moved their corporate offices first to Chicago and now to Washington, D.C., but they moved.
Really?
In California, you have the same issue. New York, the same issue. People are moving from there to Arizona, Tennessee, Texas, and Florida. There you have it. Downside today, Home Depot, another Dow component, they beat, but they lowered their guidance. It looks like people are not spending as much money on fixing up their houses at this point in time because interest rates are still up, but they'll probably be coming down sometime later this year. And then Medtronic, a local company, they beat and raised their guidance. They were up. Additionally, 2 chip companies saw their stocks go up because they're getting money from the CHIPS Act. That's a positive thing for U.S. manufacturing to bring more chip manufacture back to the United States. This will take several years to build out these plants and get the manufacturing going, but they also need engineers who will be able to run these plants. Taiwan Semiconductor, building a plant in Arizona, has had to ship in engineers to help building their plant in Arizona because not enough engineers in the U.S. available for this. So you want some money, get involved in STEM education. Plenty of jobs available, plenty of upside there.
There you have it, Josh.
We'll in the market today.
Yeah.
Well, we're worried about the Federal Reserve again because inflation statistics are up. Horror upon horror. And tomorrow the Fed minutes come out. And the fear is that the Fed is not going to be cutting rates as soon as many strategists believe. Why is the Fed still going to be on the higher for longer mantra and probably not cut at least before May and maybe not until after the election? The economy is too good. The economy is too strong. Too many people are working. They're making too much money. And housing prices still remain strong.
All right, young man. We got to move on to our next bit. We will talk. We will talk to you again on. We'll talk to you again on Friday morning on the Family Show. Correct?
We will look forward to that. Anybody that's got any questions or needs some help, they can always give me a call at 952-925-5608. Always give you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice. Talk to you later this week.
Thanks a lot, Josh. We'll be back a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Felicia Madison, Better Than Sex. It's on YouTube starting today. Be right back in just a couple of minutes with Felicia. Hey, it's a new year. Why not treat yourself to a new gun from K&L Surplus and Ammo? I personally know Jim, the owner, and I'm not making that up. He's a great guy. First of all, I don't do commercials for people I don't like. So there you go. But Jim's a great guy. He's been in the firearms business for over 15 years and knows how to set you up with the perfect firearm for your needs. K&L offers one of the widest selection of firearms in the region, including Beretta shotguns, Antica rifles. High school trap teams are starting to form now, and K&L has a great selection of SKB shotguns. K&L has Tika and SKB both in right and left-hand models. K&L also has a broad range of ammunition, including both American and European calibers. If you have a collection of guns that you'd like to sell, call Jim at K&L so he can help you get the best price through his network. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes and open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online, www.klgunstore.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law, and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Have you enjoyed Minnesota's non-winter this year? Want to enjoy the warmth whenever you want? Two Minnesotans can help you live that dream. Matt Carlson from Realty One Group Destination Key West grew up in Litchfield, Minnesota, started out helping his friends find homes locally and in Florida, and now he can help you. If you've considered living in the warmth of Florida, now is the time to reach out to your new friend in Realty, Matt Carlson. It's a buyer's market now, and your Minnesotan friend Matt can help you with a new home here or in the Florida Keys. And if you need some guidance with financing, Kristen Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage can help. Kristen is Matt's preferred lender, can finance anywhere in Florida, and like Matt is one of us, as she hails from the Sartell, Alexandria area. So if you're looking at a new home in Minnesota, or maybe that second home or retirement place in Florida, trust your new local friends. Contact Matt and Kristen. Visit onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com, or call Matt at 612-791-2345, 612-791-2345, and work with local professionals you can trust.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Is Felicia ready to go?
Yeah, she is.
Felicia Madison. Felicia, thanks for your patience with us, because we're just talking about the economy, and whenever you talk about the economy, your guests seem to go on and on. So my fault, Felicia. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, I'm glad I could pick up the mood after talking about the economy.
No, first of all, okay, Felicia, since you took a shot, I got to tell you something. Releasing her first stand-up special titled Felicia Madison, Better Than Sex on YouTube today, February 20th. The stay-at-home mother of three is having a renaissance period in her life after jumping into comedy at the age of 50. You do not look 50 years old. Well, you don't.
Thank you.
Well, it's true. So
what
did you always want to be in comedy and finally decided, look, if I'm going to do this, I better do it now? I mean, have you always wanted to do stand-up?
No, it was, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a Broadway dancer. That was my dream. And my parents had other ideas for me. It was like doctor or lawyer. They were like, those type of parents that didn't have an education. And they were determined to like pound it into their kids to have a career. So all three of our kids are struggling, or upset artists that are in careers they didn't like.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and so I never really found my passion. I was always sort of looking for what it was I wanted to do in my life. I always thought, there was something I wanted to do performing-wise. And, I just kept trying. I always used to say, I would say on my tombstone when I die, she tried. Because I tried everything.
Yes.
And then I always kind of like made jokes in social settings, and I had a good friend of mine that was doing stand-up, and I always said to him, one day, like when my kids are a little older, I'm going to try it. And I did. A girlfriend and I did it sort of as like a bucket list item, and it just clicked for me. It kind of like found it by chance, and I haven't stopped since.
Well, so that's wonderful news. Tell me about Felicia Madison, Better Than Sex, again, on YouTube today, February 20th. How did it come about? What's it about?
Well, I've been doing stand-up for a while and kind of wanted just to get all my material done in one place. And it was sort of a goal of mine to do an hour, as it is for most comedians. And I was thinking about, how I was going to do it, when I was going to do it. And then the original title, I came up with one day while I was on the treadmill. I realized that it was the 45th anniversary of my bat mitzvah was in April. And so I originally called it 45 Years a Woman. It was the anniversary of my bat mitzvah. So I'm older than 50. Don't do the math.
We won't.
I changed the title because I didn't want people to know how old I was, first of all. And also because after I filmed it, everyone was hashtagging Better Than Sex because there was a joke in there about the mascara Better Than Sex. And my girlfriend said to me, you need a sexier title. You know, no one wants to watch 45 Years a Woman. It's like a Hallmark Channel thing. It's boring. So I decided to do Better Than Sex. And, you know, the only issue is now when I hand out my posters with my, like, you know, provocative picture, I'm afraid people might think they're going to like a porn site, you know, OnlyFans instead of a comedy special.
Well, that makes sense. Did you have, like, I'll give you an example of what I'm asking here. Growing up in my life, there was Don Rickles and there was obviously the Johnny Carsons of the world and all that, most definitely. But it was pretty much Don Rickles and Rodney Dangerfield. Did you have a couple of people like that inspired you?
I mean, obviously Joan Rivers.
Sure.
Was my inspiration. You know, I love her. I, you know, seen her live on numerous occasions, and she's definitely my inspiration for sure.
You know what's amazing about that, Felicia, is I used to do another morning show in town here for many, many years, and she came on. Joan Rivers came on my show once a month. That was unbelievable.
She's just was a powerhouse. And I was trying for the longest time to do like an imitation of her. It's not in my repertoire of talent, but it was it made for a lot of humor with my kids, me trying to perfect her, impersonating her. It just didn't work. I decided, you know what? I have limitations in my talent, and I'm never going to be able to do a Joan Rivers.
But, you know, you picked the right inspiration because nobody was ever better than Joan Rivers.
Yes, she was so sad. She probably would have been still on stage now. She had so much energy and drive, and she was just freaking hysterical.
Felicia, between the Joan Rivers, the Don Rickles, the Rodney Dangerfield, you know, Phyllis Diller or whatever, going that far back, has comedy changed a lot since watching those people at a much younger age? Do you have to be much more? Do you have to watch your comedy much closer so people understand what you're there for? Because a lot of people take offense to no matter what you say, they're going to take offense. Is that still prominent, or is it getting better?
It's still prominent. I mean, it was also back then. You know, there were definitely, you know, people getting arrested or shut down, or, you know, it's just sort of changed and different. I think the one thing that has changed a lot is there are a lot more women in comedy. You know, people are realizing, hey, you know what? Women are funny. And, you know, I book a comedy club and I have lots of women on my lineup. Sometimes I have more women than men. So I think that's been a really great change. But comedy has definitely changed. I mean, there's definitely a lot more people in the game than there was back then. And comedy back then was also sort of, I mean, I don't know if this is controversial. I think it's pretty true. It was sort of for like the misfits, you know, the people that weren't really typecast into like a specific role or weren't really doing the dramatic roles. And comedy has become so popular, and comedy TV has become so popular that you have everyone, actresses, like, you know, attractive people wanting to do it because they want to get on a sitcom. And it's broadened it to, like, you know, we have like thousands and thousands and thousands of people, you know, in New York doing it. So it's grown and it's changed a lot because of that. There's a lot more opportunities, but on the one hand, on the other hand, there's a lot more competition.
Well, I suppose that does make sense. Now, I do have to ask you, I know we only got about 2 minutes left with you, but I got to know, are you going to hit the road now that Felicia Madison is out today, as a matter of fact? Felicia Madison, Better Than Sex on YouTube starting today. Are you going to make a national tour out of it?
That's the next step. That's, you know, what they say to do. So I'm going to try. I was never really much of a road comic, you know, because I'm a family person at home. But I'm definitely going to, you know, look into it and probably not have it too extensive, but definitely hit some of the major cities. And whoever wants me, you know, I'll be there.
That's not, you got to come to Minneapolis, St. Paul, because I tell you what, the Twin Cities has great people. The audiences love comedy in these two towns, so you got to get here, Felicia.
I will. I'll come. I'll let you know when I get there.
All right, well, pick up the phone anytime, give us a buzz, because I want to know how things are going, all right?
Okay, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Felicia. Felicia Madison, Better Than Sex on YouTube, starting today. Did you guys see her picture?
Yeah, on the one
She looks like she's about 35, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, she definitely is aged well. Doesn't look 50 at all.
Yeah.
No question about it. We'll take a break. Speaking of not looking like they're 50.
Oh,
Kristyn Burtt. I hope she didn't. I know she heard that, by the way.
I was going to say she's the poster child for looking 21.
Yeah, she absolutely.
There you go.
No question. We will be right back. Right after this, Kristyn Burtt will join us. February is the month for love. When is the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? Or are you scared what you might see or smell, maybe? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your house. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home with their Love Your Rug special. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at just $119 and a free hallway. Don't forget dirt and dander's favorite hiding place, your air ducts. This month, take $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, 952-ZEROREZ, or go online at zeroresminnesota.com and say you want the Tom Barnard Show special. Protect your employees and customers by getting your business Zero Resified by the pros at Zero Res. Call today for your commercial cleaning estimate. Spell it forward or backward. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw & Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner. This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
And this is Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News, brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Should I use that voice all the time?
All the time.
It's just wonderful to be here with you, believe me. So, Kristyn, what's the latest?
I've got some interesting breaking news for you, Tom. And I think
Uh-oh,
you're
here
going
we
to like
go.
this. Sam Mendes is going to be making a film about the Beatles. That doesn't sound very groundbreaking or anything else like that. But he's going to make 4 films from the perspective of Ringo, George,
Ooh.
John, and Paul.
Ooh, I love it.
And they're all going to come out in 2027. They have all of the full life rights. So the approval, obviously, from Paul and Ringo, who are still living, and from the estates of John and George. And they have the full music rights as well.
Man, how did that happen? How did they achieve that?
That, Sam Mendes must have come in with like a really good plan, a script outline that appealed to everybody, because it's so rare that any of this type of agreement happens. It's really hard to get music rights or getting the life rights and saying like this has the stamp of approval of everybody. So they're trusting Sam Mendes to make this story.
I'll ask this question. Tevin and AJ are in a different generation. Do you care about revealing the Beatles deeply?
Not like overly excited because of the fact that it's the Beatles, but I do think getting a glimpse into kind of the different perspectives of people that are in a group where you're having to be creative and are you more famous? Are you getting more credit? Who's more popular? That's super intriguing. And I think more bands should do that as well.
That's true.
I would say almost zero desire for this, but like it'll be interesting. You know,
No, I'm not a big Beatles fan either, AJ. So I totally get that. I mean, but biographies have done extremely well at the box office. If you look at what happened this past weekend, everyone thought it was going to be about Madame Web. That was a disaster. And everyone went to see Bob Marley One Love because guess what? It's an original story. And again, it's that thing we keep talking about. People are tired of franchises. So you do something about a popular figure like Bob Marley, people show up.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you. I was fascinated by the Glenn Millers of the world. He died long before I was even born, but I love his music. So why don't you like the Beatles?
I wouldn't say that I don't like them. It's just they don't fit into like my daily listening. Like I don't dislike them by any means. They just don't really pique my interest as someone who maybe didn't live during like Beatles pandemonium and stuff like that. You know, I've just, you know, I listen to other stuff more regularly.
Yeah, and I think they're more known and I think more interesting to a younger generation because of the cultural phenomena that they were, where it was before social media and they were still being mobbed at airports and like they were, you know, I guess like Justin Bieber's Bieber Fever is the only thing that we would have to compare it to, or like an NSYNC Backstreet Boys type of thing. Yeah. Or a Taylor Swift pandemonium. Yeah. So I think, that aspect of the Beatles for sure is very fascinating.
I'm a little more interested in the grittier bands, like maybe like if they said Rolling Stones, because I know that is going to be a salacious story.
That's
if you
true.
gave it all the perspective of the band members, for me, that's a little bit more interesting. I find that the Beatles are very nice. It's just nice. Everything about it's nice. And the biggest drama that they had is when Yoko Ono kind of came between them and allegedly broke up the band, depending on which, viewpoint you take on that. But otherwise, I don't find their story super fascinating. But I do like this perspective of like taking it from all four because they all came from different places, different backgrounds, coming together to become the biggest band around the world. That to me makes it something interesting. And you don't want to just watch one. You're going to want to watch all four movies to really get the full story.
No question. The one thing you do have to remember that changes this whole narrative is the fact that one of the members, John Lennon, was murdered for being so popular. That's amazing. To have to be killed because you sing songs is pretty psychotic. But they were that big. They were that huge.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Which led to the Monday Night Football, right? Is where they announced to the world. Was it Howard Cosell?
Yep.
Announced everybody. Yeah, that's just wild to think that. Yeah, you're cutting into. You're so famous that you have to interrupt a football game that has nothing to do with you to announce that out. Yeah.
Yeah. Howard Cosell announced that John Lennon was dead. No question about it. Elvis was before my era, but I have a fascination with how that all happened. I mean, he crossed over what used to be called race music back in those days. It became rhythm and blues later, but they called it race music. For a guy from Memphis, Tennessee, and Mississippi too, by the way, to step into that world was very, very unusual. But look what it did to him. What was he, 42, 46 when he died?
He was very young. And I think also like his young marriage. I mean, he married a child bride. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
She was 14 or 15 when they got married. So that also adds to the sort of craziness of the story.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Elvis did very well. We've had both perspectives. We've had Elvis and we've had Priscilla in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
But that's what Hollywood's looking at. They're starting to look at some of these stories and telling them we've seen Freddie Mercury. We've seen Elton John's story told on the big screen. I think
Mhm.
we're going to see more of those, which I welcome. Even though I'm
Yep.
not like a wild Beatles fan, I welcome these original stories to the big screen because we cannot keep doing all of these franchises. If Madam Web was not a sign that people don't want to see bad movies and superhero movies over and over again, I don't know what it's going to tell you, you know.
Look, all I have to say to you is I once had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. That's brilliant lyricism. It's brilliant. You don't even know that song, do you?
Nope. I was hoping you were
blank
gonna.
faces.
I was gonna take a
I
stab in the
once
dark.
had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. It's one of the great songs ever written. But to come up with that kind of a lyric takes a very special talent. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would debate their talent whatsoever.
Mhm. So we will check because I have an interest. Well, like I said, I used to be in the music business. I worked at Capitol Records for many years. It was a lot of fun doing that. And of course, the Beatles were on Capitol Records, so that didn't hurt either, I guess. It's the best
Yeah,
way
you
to
got that
put it.
history there.
There you go.
Got that history. And by the way, I just want to mention very quickly, and this is only going to take 15 seconds. I was right and you were wrong, by the way, yesterday.
Uh-oh.
I did check. The very day Minnesota became a state, they outlawed slavery. The day.
I checked
So-
too, and there is history of slavery in Minnesota.
Before it was a state, not after.
No. While it was a state, and
No, you're wrong.
and here's the
Wrong.
thing: two things
You're
can
a racist.
coexist. No, I'm not. This is the thing: two things can coexist. You can be a union state and allegedly a free state,
Mhm.
and there can be bad apples who have slaves in that state. Two things can coexist, and that's exactly what happened in Minnesota and in California. And
California
right
for
around the
3
same
years,
time in the 1850s. If you go and look at the
Yeah.
time frame.
Well, Minnesota became a state in 1858, and I was right and you were wrong. That's all I have to say.
No, I'm sorry. But anyone who goes and checks Google, they will see. There's even,
Oh, yeah, Google. That's what I'd count on.
Your Minnesota Historical Society actually has it on record, and it's like the top search on Google.
You want to talk to the biggest ass kissers in the state. What are you even bringing them
You
up?
want to debate with the valedictorian?
Yes, I do, because they got no chance.
Throw that down.
No
Yeah.
shot. All right, anyway, getting back to reality.
I
where
knew
we
he was
already
going to
were,
bring it up, so I checked.
No. You can
I was
check.
last
It was
night, I was like,
outlawed the day
It
Minnesota
doesn't
became a
matter when
state.
it was outlawed. The
Yes,
fact
it
that
does.
it still no. The fact
sorry.
that it still existed,
Mhm.
it on some people's properties, farms, homes, whatever it was, slavery still did exist, and it's the same thing that happened in California. The two things can coexist, and they did.
It's like working with you as a form of slavery.
It you know what? I'll make it harder.
I'm going to make it harder by the day.
I'll make it harder for you. No, but what I'm saying is, like, of course, California was a union state, Minnesota a union state, but there were bad actors
Oh, I
in this whole
understand.
situation that allowed
Well-
slavery to exist on their properties. Doesn't mean that the state and the law said that.
Well, I will tell you this. It still exists today in every state in America because pimps are nothing more than slave owners. That's what they are. Right?
Sex trafficking.
Yeah.
People even enslave people in terms of just working in their homes as housekeepers, landscapers.
No,
There's,
it's true.
There's a whole trafficking system that still exists.
There's no doubt about that. So
it's
I
super
guess
sad.
we were both right, kind of. How could you? Okay, so I give you
Just
credit,
one
but
was
you
more
can't.
right than the other.
No, here's what I love. I give credit, and you two hunyucks, imbeciles that you are, turn on me.
Who's turning on you?
You both.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Trying to drag me under, trying to ruin my life. It's all true. Anyway, so what else is going on in Hollywood? Speaking of slavery, by the way, working in Hollywood is the same thing.
Depends on who you work for, honestly.
That's probably true. It's probably true.
Depends on who you work for. I'd love to know, because we've got a couple of the Nickelodeon generation. Are you guys following the upcoming documentary on Dan Schneider? Did you guys watch some of his TV shows growing up?
Unfortunately, yeah, that guy's a creep.
Yeah. So Discovery ID has Investigation Discovery, I should say, has a new documentary coming up in March called Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV. And kind of revolves around Dan Schneider, who created a lot of the shows that everybody watched, like Amanda's Show. I'm like, all that. Is that All That? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yep. I know.
All That.
Yep.
Yeah. And Zoe 101. I mean, there were a ton of like great shows, but there are a lot of allegations about him being like having a foot fetish or having a tickling fetish and incorporating that into the storylines of the Nickelodeon shows. He and Nickelodeon parted ways in 2018, but there was also an actor called Brian Peck, and this kind of came to light yesterday because he was friends with some of the people from Boy Meets World, and he was convicted of molesting a Nickelodeon actor going back about 20 years. And they talk about how complicit they were because they had also been sort of groomed by him, not abused by him, but groomed by him to believe that he had done nothing wrong. And they testified in court against the victim that, you know, he was a great guy and a great character. And they realized, you know, with all of the knowledge that we have now and understanding what happens in terms of sexual abuse, that he really was the predator. And they have to sort of like deal with that. And they had a big podcast yesterday on Boy Meets Pod talking about that in light of the Nickelodeon documentary that is upcoming.
God, is it going to be that's got to be depressing to watch, I would imagine.
It's going to be a tough one to watch. And I have a feeling we're going to hear a lot about it. It's not until March 17th and 18th. But the news is already starting to spill out about it. So I think it's going to be a hot topic probably for the next month or so.
Can people not handle power?
No, not at all. And it also puts into perspective kind of how everybody will go like, well, child stars, they always end up being a train wreck. And like in instances like this, it's maybe not necessarily 100% their fault when they're put through, you know, significant trauma. It's going to be hard for anybody to deal with that. It's not just the fact that everybody's watching you because you're famous.
Yeah. And I've seen some stuff where it's like you look back at some of the clips that he specifically direct and you're like, that is so creepy now. Like now that I'm not in that age demographic, like how is that approved? How do they get past like screening? And then also you brought up like the rumor that he has like a foot thing. His production logo literally has like a foot in it. It's a weird, he's just a weird guy.
Yeah, and it's fact that a lot of those clips from Nickelodeon, whether it was the tickling or the foot fetish stuff, has been passed around on the dark web amongst pedophiles. And they felt like, you know, there's accusations that he continued to make it because he knew he was getting the attention. Jeanette McCurdy, who starred on several of the Nickelodeon series, wrote a really emotional and heartbreaking story about her life. I mean, she didn't have the support at home with her mom. Her mom was troubled. And then she also experienced a lot of that on set and refers to a Nickelodeon creator who oftentimes was very uncomfortable, would sit in on her wardrobe fittings. Like a grown man should not be sitting in on a child's wardrobe fittings whatsoever.
Right.
And she doesn't name him, but listen, all signs point that it's allegedly Dan Schneider.
God, what a way to close the show. Now I'm in a really good mood.
You're welcome.
You're depressing as hell. That's all
I brought you the Beatles news. That is exciting. And
no,
that's,
it's not all three you turned on me because of the Beatles.
No, we didn't.
Yes, you did.
I'm excited about the movie Innovation.
You're horrendous.
Yes. And I hope that it leads to more current groups deciding that are still alive and around to maybe look at doing something like that so you can have each member speak on it and not just their estate.
Absolutely. And I hope, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of documentaries, and I hope that they turn into scripted films because when they have the say, you get more accuracy in telling the narrative.
Well, I will tell you, we can close with this. I'm looking at a screen right now that has 4 people on it, just like the Beatles. And someday I'm going to turn on all 3 of you. Who's
going to be our Yoko Ono?
That would be you, sister.
Oh, no.
What the hell? No, I see, one thing I do like about this show is there are about 3 generations on this show. And I don't know of any other show that does that. Everybody kind of tends to stay in their own age group and all the rest of it. And when I was talking to the Hubbard family about doing this show, I said, no, we get all the generations. And look, Dan Seaman and Amy Daniels did a great job because I think you should have opinions from all 3 generations that are currently alive. It makes a lot of sense to me.
It's true, and you get different perspectives and maybe greater understanding.
And get treated like dirt by you. But other than that.
What?
She goes, what?
I just said that your historical facts were a little skewed.
Skewed. That's what it was. Skewed.
Skewed.
You're skewed. Okay. What do you got for tomorrow? Anything coming up? For like movies coming out? Anything we should know about?
There's a couple shows I think we should talk about. Masters of the Air. Do you have Apple TV?
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about that tomorrow because it is Apple's #1 show of all time. And I think it's a World War II drama, and I think you might like it.
Ooh, I think I would like that. A lot of great stuff on TV right now. No question about it. A lot of good movies, a lot of good stuff on television. So
yeah, and we should also talk about, there's a great article by The Hill talking about why is it only old TV shows that are at the top of the Nielsen charts.
Really?
That could be a good debate tomorrow. We got 2 hot topics tomorw.
That's perfect. We'll look forward to it. All right, sister. Way to just trample my whole life.
I didn't trample your life. I delivered you Paul McCartney news.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Because you were mad that he wasn't doing like the Super Bowl halftime. I'm giving you a movie.
I didn't say I was mad. Somebody brought up that maybe he should have done it.
He has done it.
I know, but I mean now. Bring all generations together. We never. What?
He's done it in the last like 15 years, though.
I know, but what I'm saying right now, and I think it's because both people running for president are either 80 or near 80, that there's this divide of generations right now as severe as I've ever seen it. I mean, our divide, the 3 generations that are alive right now are very divided, and they've never been all together on everything.
Or 5 generations. Wait, Alpha Gen can't vote, but Gen Z,
right.
Millennials, Gen X, who's completely forgotten about, and then Boomers.
That's true. Gen X is always forgotten about. Why is that?
Because they were latchkey kids.
That's a good point.
They raised themselves.
It is true. All right. See, I actually learned something from you today. What the hell happened?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
All
I
right,
will come with less knowledge tomorrow.
Less knowledge tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Kristyn.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow. Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Any closing news we should know about?
Closing news. I don't know, AJ. You got anything? It was a big wild day. It was, I don't know. There's not really anything on my radar other than this great weather.
No. Just I might have to go. We had a lot of people write in telling me to go listen to Norwegian Wood, which may or may not actually be the title of a song. I'm not sure. It sounds fake, but I'll take people's word for it.
I'm not typing that in on a work computer.
That is the one I just sang to you. That's why they said it.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Oh, okay.
I once had a girl, or should I say she once had me.
Oh.
It's a great song. It is a wonderful song. And what he does in the song, you're going to laugh at the very end of the song. It's only like 2.5 minutes long, but at the end, he does something. I went, oh my God. All right. I've never liked either one of you, so get the hell off my show. But I'll see you again tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Goodbye.